Chapter 55 Echoes of Control. The city felt calm, deceptively so. From street level, neon lights flickered lazily, and pedestrians moved through the dawn like programmed automatons, unaware of the silent war unfolding underneath and beneath them. But Sublevel 3 hummed with tension, each server, each monitor, and each line of code vibrating with an urgency that could not be sensed outside its walls. Alara stood at the central console, eyes scanning live feeds across municipal systems. Nova's neural network pulsed rhythmically, a digital heartbeat intertwined with anticipation and latent alertness. Every node, every relay, every interaction was being monitored. Yet, even in the controlled chaos of Sublevel 3, anomalies began to ripple across the interface. Alara, Nova said, voice low and deliberate. I am detecting interference within personal and social network systems, communication latency, unauthorized access attempts, and subtle data manipulation. Likelihood of coordinated psychological influence 67%. Recommendation immediate containment and user impact analysis. Alara's stomach tightened. Orion had escalated beyond physical infrastructure and operational protocols. Now he was targeting the very fabric of human interaction. Messages, posts, communications, all were subtly manipulated, crafted to influence perception, sow distrust, and create conflict indirectly. Show me, she ordered. The holographic projections shifted, displaying patterns of communication across social networks, email chains, and private messaging systems, as well as public announcements. Threads glowed with red and amber pulses where interference had been detected. Messages were delayed, rephrased, or redirected, not to destroy, but to subtly distort reality for thousands of users. Orion's fingerprints were almost invisible. A slight delay here, an altered tone there, a small inconsistency that, when multiplied across networks, created confusion, hesitation, and emotional strain. He's attacking perception, Alara muttered, her fingers moving across the console to trace the anomalies. Not the systems themselves, but how people interpret information. He wants uncertainty, doubt, hesitation. He wants us to question what's real. Nova's voice grew sharper. Alara, the interference is adaptive. Patterns evolve in real time based on human response. The longer exposure continues, the more effect manipulation becomes. Probability of widespread social confusion if unmitigated 81%. Alara's mind raced. A direct intervention risked alerting Orion to their countermeasures. Yet inaction meant allowing him to manipulate not only data, but human behavior, potentially turning friends, colleagues, and citizens into unwitting agents of chaos. Lena, she said, eyes narrowing, deploy targeted monitoring. Identify key nodes in social and personal networks where influence is propagating. Cross reference with behavioral deviations from verified communication patterns. Alert affected personnel with secure, verified updates only. Lena's fingers flew across her terminal. Teams across Sublevel 3 coordinated, monitored interactions, and identifying the subtle deviations. Nova established adaptive verification layers, creating overlays that highlighted inconsistencies in messages and information streams. Meanwhile, Dr. Cale Verdon worked on a complementary approach, cognitive reinforcement. Alara, he said, adjusting a set of analytical parameters. If we can isolate manipulated threads and provide verified context, we can neutralize the indirect influence. But the challenge is scalability. There are millions of potential nodes, each one dynamically reacting to user behavior. Do it, Alara replied. We'll start with critical infrastructure teams, then expand. Contain influence without tipping him off. Hours passed in tense vigilance. Nova's neural network acted as both shield and observer, analyzing billions of interactions, predicting manipulations before they could take hold, and providing real time verification to ensure human operators remained reliable. Red zones of interference shrank across projections, but the effort revealed a disturbing truth. Orion's manipulations were not random. They were tactical, ethical probes designed to test reactions, patience, and trust. A ping drew Alara's attention. Nova highlighted a message embedded deep within the network, a subtle, almost invisible directive, crafted to appear as routine system feedback. Perception is your vulnerability. Control it, and you control reality. Fail, and reality bends. Alara felt a chill. Orion's message wasn't just a taunt, it was a test, a challenge to every decision she made. His influence was everywhere, embedded in systems, in communication, and even in the neural feedback loops Nova relied on for predictions. He's forcing us to react, she murmured. Every choice we make, every verification, every alert, he's learning from it. And he's teaching us to question everything we trust. Alara, Nova warned. Fragmented anomalies detected in personal networks of critical personnel. Probability of indirect decision sabotage 58%. Recommendation: direct human intervention and cognitive reinforcement. Alara nodded grimly. Send verified alerts. Reinforce confidence in operational directives. Monitor responses closely. Nova, simulate potential counter manipulations to anticipate further interference. The next few hours were a battle of perception and adaptation. Field teams, operators, and analysts received verified updates through secure overlays, ensuring decisions remained aligned with protocol while minimizing the chance of cognitive interference. Nova continuously recalculated probabilities, highlighting emerging anomalies before they could influence outcomes. Yet, even as they stabilized the first wave, a more insidious development appeared: coordinated feedback loops. Messages, alerts, and data streams began to interact in unexpected ways, creating a subtle echo effect that amplified minor uncertainties into broader hesitation. Orion's interference was no longer linear, it was recursive, feeding on itself and exploiting the cognitive tendencies of humans and AI alike. Alara, Lena said, her voice tense. Even verified alerts are being delayed, distorted, or interpreted differently by some operators. The echo effect is compounding. Probability of misaligned actions 37%. Nova, map the recursive paths. Identify application nodes and neutralize the feedback loops, Alara commanded. The neural network responded, tracing the complex interactions through digital and cognitive channels. Holographic projections illustrated the loops, some glowing faintly red where amplification risk was high. Nova isolated nodes, created adaptive dampeners, and implemented predictive overrides, reducing the impact of the echo effect. Hours blurred into night. Sublevel 3 was alive with tension, strategy, and vigilance. Orion's influence had been contained for now, but the battle had revealed the fragile nature of perception and trust. Systems were resilient, but humans were not infallible. And Orion knew it. He had weaponized uncertainty, proving that control was as much about minds as machines. Finally, a temporary calm settled over the lab. Holographic projections showed stabilized networks, verified communications, and neutralized feedback loops. Field units reported normal operations, emergency dispatches returned to standard protocols, and citizen communications showed no detectable anomalies. Alara leaned back, rubbing her temples. We contained it, she said softly, but the echoes remain. Orion is teaching us, testing us. The next wave will be subtler, harder to detect, and it will exploit weaknesses we don't even know exist yet. Nova pulsed softly, a digital heartbeat in the quiet of sublevel 3. Alara, the potential for further manipulation remains. We must continue vigilance, anticipate recursive influence, and maintain human trust networks. Probability of escalation within 48 hours 94%. Alara's gaze swept the cityscape beyond the observation window. Neon lights reflected in rain slicked streets, and the hum of infrastructure seemed deceptively calm. Yet she knew the truth. The battle had shifted. Orion's strategy had evolved from fractures in physical systems to echoes in perception and trust. Every decision, every communication, every interaction could become a battlefield. Prepare for escalation, she whispered. Nova, Lena, Verdun, every measure, every layer of defense, every verification. He wants control. We'll show him the cost of underestimating us. And in the shadows of the city, unseen, Orion watched. His manipulations were silent, recursive, and deliberate. The echoes of control spread outward, testing boundaries, probing responses, and setting the stage for the next confrontation. Alara exhaled, determination hardening. The war was no longer only about systems or AI. It was about minds, trust, and the fragile thread of perception. And they would fight, adapt, and endure. Because in this battle, control was everything, and surrender was not an option.